What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich, back to bring you your MLB props for July the 2nd. We started off July with a bang. We got the over on Julio Rodriguez and on Josh Bell, and we also hit on the unders on JD Martinez and Jesus Aguilar. Now let's dive into the slate today, because there's a couple guys that are interesting that you're not going to expect to be on this list, but did make it and did make the cut today, and I'll talk about why a little bit more going forward. But let's get into the list. Seth Brown, Randy Arozarena, Roman Laureano, Julio Rodriguez, Javi Baez, Oneil Cruz, Giancarlo Stanton, and Kyle Tucker. Not going to waste any of your time on the weekend. The three guys I'm targeting today: Julio Rodriguez, Giancarlo Stanton in either game. Doesn't really matter which one, whether you see this early, you want to play him in game 1, or you want to play him against T-Mac in game 2. I do like both matchups for Giancarlo Stanton. Julio Rodriguez up against Paul Blackburn, who started off the season really hot, but you know, he really kind of fell apart a little bit over the past few starts. You've seen the consistency that Julio has been delivering going forward. And on top of that, he's batting leadoff again. So maximizing his at-bats, maximizes his upside. A lot more steal potential, especially batting first in the order. So I do like that. And then Seth Brown is a guy that people may not even have heard of playing out in Oakland, but he's actually playing pretty well. So the thing with him is that you don't want to play him against lefties. He played against a couple of lefties the past 2 games, but he's got a righty today in George Kirby, a guy who's been struggling a little bit. You see the P-Val matchup is in his favor slightly, and also massive matchups for Julio Rodriguez and for Giancarlo Stanton. So I do like those 3 guys. But another one that's kind of scary but did make the list is Randy Arozarena up against Kevin Gausman. Gausman does have a neutral pitch factor, but to be honest, the way he pitched last start, I would not be going after Kevin Gausman right now. He is on another level of efficient. He's been playing out of his mind in the last start, and so it's just, which one are we going to get? You know, he struggled for a few starts, but his last start, he looked fabulous, looked really, really good. And today, up against the Rays, who have been struggling to score runs in this series, could be another really tough outing. They do get McClanahan on the other side, so unders galore is what we're looking at more than likely for this matchup. Just depends on how these hitters hit, but McClanahan on one side, Gausman on the other side. Arozarena, I'd probably stay away from him, but again, he only has a total of 5, so if I'm projected for 8.47, he's got a bit of an edge there. You know, he's been pretty hot over his last few games, but in Toronto, he hasn't been playing quite as well. And then Roman Laureano, I kind of add to that Oakland stack against George Kirby. Again, it comes down to Kirby just isn't pitching very well right now. You see the P-Val factor is in Laureano's favor, both in the fastball and the slider. So that is good to see, and he's been hitting this pretty consistently. I do like Laureano. He's a little bit, you know, the thing with him is he can get extra base hits, right? He hasn't been getting them as consistently, but when he gets a hold of one, he hits it long, he hits it far. This is in Seattle, which does help a little bit with the home runs versus with Oakland. So again, I don't love Laureano, but I think there's a world where you could play him. Again, a total of 6. Oakland's been a team who has popped in a lot of models to actually beat Seattle. It's not as unfavorable for them as people kind of think, as people kind of see. You know, they're like plus 200 every day to get a win. They won yesterday. They put up a ton of runs. They've hit their team total each game this series. So that's going to be on the back of Seth Brown and Laureano, in my opinion. And so I do not mind playing both those guys. I talked about Julio and why I love him today. Baez is, man, he's hit or miss. Up against Singer, I don't mind it. You know, you see how consistent he's been. Last game, he obviously didn't hit. But overall, I think there's a world where he could definitely go over. Oneil Cruz, I mean, you could play him today. He's in a great matchup, great spot. 6.5 total is pretty modest. It's just he hasn't been playing the best overall. He's been fine, you know, 6.57 over his last 7, 7.92 over his last 14. Came out the gate hot, has a great matchup today against Aaron Ashby. And even on the Milwaukee side, my goodness, Brees Wilson is he's in trouble today. And so if you really want to stack a team and you want to stack Milwaukee, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But they did put up like 20 runs yesterday, so I don't think they're going to put up 20 again today. So, but, I mean, if you want to take Adames, Yelich, and then I forget who the other guy is, probably McCutchen, I believe, at 7.5. They are a stack option. They're just so high. It's very difficult for me to recommend them because the projections don't quite have them going that high. The Yankees as well in Game 1 and Game 2 should probably slap up Cleveland. It's not looking good for Cleveland today in this doubleheader. And then last guy is Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker's been phenomenal all season long. You see very consistent over the course of the season, the 14 and the 7 game samples. He's getting a ton of RBIs. He's usually batting in the 5 or 6 hole behind Yordan Alvarez, who obviously gets on base a ton. Patrick Sandoval has been okay this year. I'm projected for 9, which is fine. You know, Tucker can easily get an RBI double, at which point he's getting 7 points. and going way over. You see a little bit of hot and cold at times for Tucker, but Houston has been phenomenal in this series. They put up 8 runs yesterday. So again, I'm not too worried about them scoring runs. I think they're in a great spot. Sandoval's a fine pitcher, but Houston's been playing on another level right now. So I wouldn't mind flexing in Tucker. I think you want to start with Julio and Giancarlo, and then you could work in Seth Brown, Tucker as probably the other 2 guys, maybe a Laureano if you're feeling risky, and then O'Neal Cruz is kind of like an option if you want to play him, but again, not so hot overall. 4-4-0-14. Again, this is a little bit backdated from the past couple days. I haven't updated it fully. Those are all courtesy from myspari.com if you wanted to get that. They do drop it every day, but they usually don't drop it before I make this video. And with some of the day games, I like to get out as early as possible. So those are the guys I'd probably be targeting today. And overall, if you tail, give them hell. And if we fail, do not bail. Make sure to drop me a like if you like this video. All this data is all for you guys. Use it as much as you want. I try to give you as much as possible. If you need to pause it to, look it over to see everything in case I skip over things, feel free to do that. But as always, just hope you guys have a good weekend. Long weekend for a lot of people out there. Have a good weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow with more plays. I'm out. Peace.